Welcome everybody here to the Sports Talk Network channel, and welcome here to Steve Wrestling Ramble. I hope everybody has had a great Thanksgiving week and your upcoming weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, my family, to yours, and I wanted to at least be able to get a Steve Wrestling Ramble episode up here for the week, as I do each and every week, and especially after a big pay-per-view that happened past Sunday with Survivor Series, and then the aftermath of the particular pay-per-view. Raw versus SmackDown. Raw sweeping SmackDown 6-0. Or more like 6-1, but still, to them, 6-0. What was supposed to happen being Raw winning the tag team match in the pre-show. I don't know if any of my team members or others will be able to join, because again, it's still Thanksgiving weekend, just as much as Thanksgiving week, above Thanksgiving Day itself, which was Thursday. So that's why I didn't have an episode yesterday, because it was Thanksgiving Day. And the likelihood of having anybody being able to be on would be today. And I usually don't like to have episodes on the weekend. Only time I do videos on the weekend, if I absolutely have to, is maybe last minute standing video or something that I forgot or had to rush to do because I weren't able to late night on Fridays for whatever reason. So let's talk about Survivor Series. Pretty dang good pay-per-view. Like I said, some of my team members, well, I was seeing most of them will not be able to make it, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing. I'm not mad at them. I'm sure they're still entertaining family. So I appreciate that. At least I'm able to get this episode up. So let's talk about Survivor Series. I'm looking at the card here, what we had happening, and with the pre-show, we did have the Usos surviving in the tag team match, SmackDown versus Raw. The Usos being the sole survivors, though. That was Raw winning 6-0. SmackDown, excuse me, did get the win there for the pre-show. You had a 2-hour pre-show and just one match for the pre-show. And I know for those that don't care in general, for me, I could care less about the pre-show. I'd rather it just be 1 hour. We're going to have one match, even if it's a big pay-per-view, like a WrestleMania, like the Big Five, as I call them now. The Big Five pay-per-view events still have a 1 hour show with one match, or if you're going to have 2 hour show with actual two matches, and matches being most of the time in each of the hour. Especially now more that Renee Young's on Raw, and we have Coach hosting, even more so, in my opinion, on that end of things, just because I'm just not entertained or interested really with what's going on in the pre-show. Usually not too much happens, though some things did in regards to Survivor Series, and maybe if that happened more often, I'd be more engaged to want to watch it and not having to unmute and wait for the match to happen, sort of thing. But that's just me. Maybe people really do enjoy it, or people don't watch it at all. Whatever the spectrum is, that's fine to me. I do hear something. Oh, I see Kyron's here. Sorry, I hear you coming in. Didn't know you were going to be able to. So how you doing, man?
Good.
Good. We were just talking about with the kickoff and the pre-show match itself, with SmackDown actually earning a win. It did exist with the blue brand. Your thoughts on that match? I guess since I was rambling on pre-show, your thoughts on pre-shows overall?
I don't watch the pre-show, but I do have something to say about the match itself.
Okay.
WWE screwed up in the production of this match because Raw was originally supposed to win, because Raw was supposed to get the clean sweep, and whoever produced the match didn't get that memo and SmackDown the winning. So they pretend like the match didn't count. Way to show you care about the tag team division. Well, you pretty much say that the only that the tag team elimination match didn't matter and didn't count. That pretty much tells me you didn't care about the tag team division. What does that say? And Xavier Woods, he's been tweeting a lot. Oh, that the match happened. The Revival pretty much tweeting, tag team wrestling matters. And then you got stuff like, and then you got them pretty much saying it doesn't. And I talk about the tag team championship situation later, but you're pretty much telling me straight up that our tag team division doesn't matter. So if you don't care about it, then why should the fans?
Right. But for me, on first hand, it's not, or at least to me, I didn't see this in generally totally as a tag team division thing. Specifically, yes, this being with the tag team division on the show. So whatever. But to me, it was just of the specific match a Survivor Series of the tag teams in the pre-show, and maybe the booker or whoever it's less of not caring of the tag team division, but not caring of pre-show. I mean, like you said yourself in your opinion on the pre-show. Um, but you would think they would care more because that's their job. They're booking a match, being bookers for that, or agents or bookers, whatever they call them backstage. Part of it that just didn't get that memo, and in the end, it was SmackDown Live getting the win. Would have been nice for the revival. That was going to be how it would be booked and played out, with them getting the W and them still being the sole survivors on that end, or how maybe it was supposed to. But in regards, I thought at first glance it was more of being lazy and not, getting it right or getting the memo to book it the way it was supposed to for that match than it is overall not caring about the tag team division. At least that's how Steve sees it. But moving on to the main card, we're started off with the women's 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Nia Jax getting the win, being the sole survivor. Team Raw getting the win, obviously. But Nia Jax being that sole survivor. So, Tyron, I guess since we're going match by match, your thoughts here with the start of the show starting with the women, to start off hot, and having Nia Jax being the sole survivor.
Well, I thought the match was all right. It wasn't anything special, but I didn't think it was a bad match. Um, the two best women in this match to me were Sasha Banks and Asuka. I thought that the one-on-one exchange here was very good, but I did. Well, I'm not gonna say oh they were breakout performances. I did both enjoy both Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville's performances, especially because they're the least known in the match. I could complain about Nia Jax because I've seen every argument to both sides of it, how they're pushing someone who injured somebody. But this is the only way I'm okay with it. If it leads to Becky coming back and getting back at Nia, that's the only way this works. If not, I get it's heat, but it's not heel heat. Um, I like people who say, "Oh, Nia's getting good heel heat." She's not. People aren't booing her because she's a good heel. People are booing her because they legitimately do not like her and think she's not good. There's a difference. The match itself was all right. I mean, it would have been nice if I would have been fine with a little bit more exchange between Asuka and Sasha, but that's just me. Um, and my whole problem, well, not just this match, but I'll talk about later. When we finish talking about the show in general. Um, I had a big problem with the show, but I thought the match itself, was all right. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't. It was all right.
Okay. I thought it was all right as well. I did enjoy Mandy Rhodes' performance and how she did during the match. Nia Jax getting the win. I kind of saw it. Oh, I kind of saw it coming without actually predicting it. So did I really see it coming? But the night of the show and when the match being started, and had the reaction that I'm sure WWE knew that she was going to get when she did come out there. While they're introducing each member of the team, I'm like, we're probably going to have Nia Jax be sole survivor, or she's going to be one of the survivors with Monday Night Raw, where either someone else does all the work, maybe even a Sasha Banks, but Nia Jax is the one to score the pin. And technically, there's two survivors, but Nia Jax hogs the spotlight and the credits, sort of thing. Either she gets to be a sole survivor or something like that. I was thinking, as she was coming out of the ring. So I was surprised that WWE decided to continue with it. I know I've been hearing people as well saying, "Oh, WWE's rewarding. How do they reward Nia Jax after what happened with her punch punch her around the world, so to speak, in regards to Becky Lynch?" I mean, yeah, I don't think that's really what's happening. It's just them continuing on what they were already planning to do with Nia Jax, who did win at Evolution, and that Royal to be the number one contender will be facing Ronda Rousey at TLC. So they're trying to keep building her up and keeping her strong, and having that thought that maybe she might, though probably not, might be winning the championship at TLC against Ronda. So in that regard, in my thinking is okay, then it makes sense to have that. In regards to Nia Jax getting her comeuppance with Becky Lynch, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is a way. I'm sure people have explained it, but in my head, trying to think of how would we get to that point? Unless we're
Royal
going to have
Rumble.
Becky moving over to Raw or Nia moving to SmackDown, but Becky's a champion, so are you going to have Becky Lynch drop the title at some point and then winning the Rumble and moving to Raw? Is that what's happening? And Nia Jax winning the Rumble and wanting to face the SmackDown champion? I mean, she's the one that knocked out Becky. She had nothing more to prove. I mean, unless you got to get her title. So I mean, which way to get that? That's why I'm thinking more. We're gonna have a four horsewomen versus four horsewomen match for WrestleMania, and that's what Becky's gonna be tied up doing, or a tag team match: Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Baszler and Rousey. So Nia Jax Lynch, maybe that's not dealt with until after WrestleMania, to the start of the new quote unquote season, I call it. So at least that's how I see it there. In regards to that part of it with Nia Jax and Becky Lynch. Moving on, Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins defeating the United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. I guess I'll go first here in this regard. I really was hoping and thinking Shinsuke, or believing that Shinsuke Nakamura needed this obviously more than Seth Rollins. Again, it was with the Raw sweep, but here in this regard, I was thinking we were going to get Dean Ambrose, whether actually there or in spirit, meaning theme music plays, distracts Seth, and Shinsuke gets the win that way, or actually showing up and distracting Seth, working with the Dirty Deeds, and Shinsuke getting the pin and getting the win. But in regards to this match, Intercontinental Champion versus United States Champion, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was a very good match. I expect nothing less between those two. Like I said in my review, the only problem is it didn't have much building story to it, but the match itself was very good. It started off slow, but once it picked up, it really picked up. Had some pretty good sequences in it. I thought it was a very good match. Probably for me the third best match of the night.
I move right along. Raw Tag Team Champions AOP defeating SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Bar with the big show and the big moment that was even talked about or even did on Monday Night, or happening on Monday Night Raw in regards in regards to with the big show making pee his pants. I mean, seriously, or pee his pants, probably wasn't actually happened, but PPAOP, but AOP themselves getting the win and defeating the Bar in the tag team match between Raw Tag Team Champions and SmackDown Tag Team Champions. There, so I guess your thoughts on the match and the PP incident and that stuff.
It was terrible. The match itself was not good. And it's sad because the match between the Bar and AOP could be a great match, but the match itself was not that good. And then the stuff with Drake Maverick was terrible. I don't find P jokes funny, especially things like that. It happened on Raw. Um, which just is worse because you're turning AOP into a joke. This is a tag team who, and once again, NXT were killers, but yeah, you turn them into a joke here that doesn't work. And Chris Jericho made a great point saying, why would AOP listen to Drake Maverick? They're smaller than him. They're young. They look younger than him, honestly. At least for Paul Ellering, he was a legend. So of course they're gonna listen to him. Why would you listen to Drake Maverick? And now they're turning AOP into a joke. And really, when you look at the Thanksgiving food fight that happened on Thursday, on Tuesday night, it kind of turned a bar into a joke too. So I mean, that's my problems with the book. And the match itself was bad. And the moment was not funny. I don't find those type of jokes funny. I don't. I mean, you do that, then you get piss poor comedy the next night on Raw. I don't find that funny.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it was less funny what happened on Raw than actually the funny comical moment at or on the pay per view with Drake Maverick peeing his pants. Like that part, I thought was okay, a little bit funny, but then the continuation on it and just you know, in a sense, being a dead horse on Monday Night Raw, and then stuff that happened on SmackDown, which was its own different thing, but still was a little bit too much in that regard to me. So in the beginning, I thought it was okay, funny, haha, funny moment stuff. But then continuing on Raw, like that's the issue. They kept on it too much. Kept on with the P jokes, or actually with the P jokes at all, and then making AOP like you said look like Trump's and jokes losing to Evil Rude there. WWE Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy, Buddy Murphy defeating Mustafa Ali. I think this one actually was the match of the night. To me, definitely liked how first they had the cruiserweights on the main show, then second they delivered and showed why the cruiserweight division is that dang good, in my opinion. Both of them going out there stealing the show, and to me was the match of the night for Survivor Series. But what say you?
I thought it was a very good match. Probably my fourth favorite match of the night. Um, Once again, the crowd was very quiet, but at the end of the match, you got 205 chance was great because this is what they needed. As someone who also doesn't watch 205 live, But this match was very, very good. It was a fun match. The crowd got into it later on, so I thought this match was good.
And moving right along to the men's traditional Survivor Series match: Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley being the survivors of Team Raw to being Team SmackDown, and the last one there was the best in the world, Shane McMahon, was the last representative of SmackDown Live. Your thoughts on the match and the three superstars that were the survivors for Team Raw in the men's match?
I mean, it was all right. I mean, other than Joe getting eliminated the way it was, which was terrible. Why? I mean, I get you want to make McIntyre look dominant, but why pick Joe to be the one to take that fall? Why couldn't it have been someone like Jeff? Um, but other than that, it was all right. I mean, once Strowman got back into the match and he just dominated everyone, that's when it kind of lost some steam for me. I did enjoy seeing things like Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio. But the match and why have Shane pin Dolph again? Wouldn't it make more sense for Dolph to get his revenge back from what happened at Crown Jewel? The match, it was all right, nothing special. Everyone on Raw, they impressed me except Lashley, who pretty much did not do anything in the whole match. SmackDown wise, I mean, Miz had a good performance. Shane had a good performance. But once again, this is the third straight year Shane's been on SmackDown side all 3 years, and yet you have him do a high spot, and that's about it. And for the second straight year for SmackDown, he's been a sole survivor. And I'll say this about the men's elimination match: it was better than last year's men's elimination match by far. It was not as good as 2016's men's elimination match.
Excuse me, I agree there. But at least with the two times they had Shane McMahon being the final one, they didn't. They didn't go too crazy and have him win. Be that one to defeat the odds and win last year or this year. So they have Shane make it that far, but since he crushed in the end, like last year and this year, quick work of him in the end there after Miz elimination, and then him coming in there finally and getting scoop slammed by Braun Strowman in 1, 2, 3. So at least there's that for those that may not liking of Shane McMahon being booked that way in 2 straight years, not only just being on the team, but being the sole survivors for SmackDown Live, but at least not getting W in that sense. Anyways, let's move on. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey defeating Charlotte Flair, replacement for the SmackDown Live Women's Champion Becky Lynch, by disqualification. I'll let you go first on your thoughts on this because I certainly have some strong.
I well, I absolutely really love this match. I thought both women brought great intensity. I see that it was smart, having Ronda win without Charlotte taking a pinfall. But as you can see from both after the match, why I enjoyed Charlotte's heel turn if it was one, and I didn't watch SmackDown because I didn't want to. I heard about the promo she cut, and I don't appreciate WWE trying to turn Charlotte into Becky. And Becky even tweeted about it. A lot of people have been calling about how they're trying to do what Becky did and give it to Charlotte, which isn't going to work. It was best to have Charlotte be a heel again, but no, they're trying to make her sort of like how Becky was. And once again, Becky tweeted about it, and a lot of fans tweeting about it. Like, do your own thing. Don't because it worked with Becky. Don't try it with Charlotte. It's not going to work that way. But the match itself was very good. The post match beatdown minus the chair botch was all right. Um, Ronda getting booed by the crowd. I personally wouldn't have had Ronda walk away. I mean, I would have had her get stretched. I'd have her get carried to the back because with her walking away, that kind of shows that she's too superhuman. I wouldn't have done that. The match itself was very good, though. Second best match of the night.
I certainly enjoyed it because it was great back and forth and storytelling within the match, and Charlotte Flair getting more and more frustrated. The match going on with the near falls. How am I going to put this woman away? You know, that kind of frustration and that part of the story. I was really enjoying beyond just the match the two were having in general, and then it ending with a disqualification kind of took the wind out of my sails, so to speak. I guess use that metaphor, because I was thinking that one of them were going to win, and that one being Ronda Rousey, and whether it was going to be a tap out or a pin, probably more so a tap out with the arm bar. See what I would have had, whether right or wrong, people can let me know. But had Ronda Rousey tap Charlotte Flair out arm bar, Charlotte getting upset, that being it, she snaps. Right, she was getting frustrated through the whole match in general. How am I going to put her away? I'm doing this for Becky, sort of thing. She even said in her promo heading into the pay per view. Excuse me. So then finally snapping after the match, and then going ham on Ronda Rousey. Um, Maybe first just with a spear, because first with a spear and then getting objects and taking it to the woodshed and and just going ham, going crazy and kind of doing what Becky did to her. Excuse me, Becky did her SummerSlam. So something like that. I think to me would have been better specifically. I guess just for one fan, but overall, I did enjoy the match and one of my favorite matches of the night. Though obviously the cruiserweight match being my match of the night, but just the finish of it and having the disqualification instead of someone actually winning, where I had a little bit issue on it myself. Let's go to the main event. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar defeating the new WWE Champion Daniel Bryan, or WWE Champion new Daniel Bryan, and the Champion versus Champion match.
Oh, match of the night. One of my top 10 favorite matches, main roster match of the year. This goes out to everyone who said that Daniel Bryan couldn't have a good match with Brock Lesnar. Everyone thought it was gonna be a squash match. It was a very, very good match. I don't know if I like this much. I like Brock's match with AJ last year, but this match is very good. I'm not, like I said in my review, I was a little scared at first when Daniel, that first suplex Daniel took. I was scared at first, but like Brock, when his other suplexes were less intense after that. And this goes to show once again when Brock's motivated, he can still give a good match. This match is great. I mean, they did give me for 1 second thinking Daniel was gonna win. He hit the second running knee, but I'm fine with Brock winning because Daniel really looked better than Brock did. Him smiling after the match, and Brock barely walking away. So great match. My favorite match of the night. Not much I can say. I just want to say I knew that if both men were motivated, this would be a great match, and I called it.
Yes, yes, it did. Now I didn't know if Brock would be wanting to or being that person. It seems like with his personality, not caring. But like you said, when he wants to care, he does care, and he works pretty well with the superstar he's wrestling with. And this time being Daniel Bryan and taking care of him in the ring, so to speak. Still hitting him pretty good with that first one, but then afterwards, like you said, there's a little bit more on that. As impactful as he would be, truly, if he was going full bore, so to speak. But being good match, I was actually thinking, hey, Daniel Bryan's gonna pull out the win. Now, not at the moment with doing the running knee, low blow, running knee, and pin. That's how he won the title. AJ Styles. I didn't think that was in the moment he was gonna win. It was when he had him in the submission move, guest lock, and trying to escape, but Daniel knocks down again and puts it back on. I'm like, oh crap, Daniel Bryan's actually gonna win. It's gonna be a shock. It's gonna be the big moment and the talking point in the watering cooler. Daniel Bryan actually winning, blah blah blah. But in the end, it was Brock Lesnar, like most of us predicted. But great story, great match between the two, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Like I said, you did call it, but I on my end was worried that Brock wasn't going to um, be a team player, so to speak, in regards to this match with Daniel Bryan. So hey, maybe it shows he has some respect for Daniel Bryan or a lot in that regard. Let alone WWE telling him to work well with Bryan because of Bryan's past and his neck injuries and otherwise. So dang good match. I would say my number two for match of the night. But all in all, for the pay per view, I thought it was good. A good pay per view in regards to great, good, okay, or terrible. I would say it's good. But overall, what do you say on how Survivor Series left you?
I was on mute. I thought it was a good show. Probably, maybe my favorite main roster match of the year. I mean, main roster pay of the year. It was nowhere down. Granted, it was nowhere near better than Takeover War Games the night before, not even close. But I thought it was a good show. I give it a good, mainly because a couple of things held it down. Mainly tag team tag team can't for tag team championship match. Um, my problem with the show, and this is more about Raw and SmackDown, there's barely any follow up to Survivor Series that 2 nights after. And that was a big mistake because you had this big show, and yet neither show barely has any follow up. I thought that's a big mistake. But the show itself, I thought was good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought it was good. Probably would give it a B plus sort of grade in that way, A to F grading scale there. But let's move over to Monday Night Raw, and I guess I'll just let you have the floor with overall your thoughts. We don't need to go piece by piece. But overall, your thoughts on Raw, your good, bad, uglies, or just your big things you want to bring up.
Oh, there was no good from Raw than me. Nothing was good. To the point where I actually stopped watching it. Um, what I don't remember Raw, and really be fair, I barely paid attention to it because on ESPN was the Game of the Year, which was much better during that time than Monday Night Raw was. Once again, no storyline follow up. You pretty much proved Survivor Series didn't matter by pretty much telling Corbin, if you beat Strowman at TLC, then you'll be the permanent GM, and told Strowman he'll get what he wants if he beats Corbin. So basically, what they were fighting for going into Survivor Series didn't happen. So Survivor Series did not matter. Um, I mean, Strowman is legitimately injured, so I hope his surgery goes well. But I'll be honest, I don't know. I thought it was a bad show. I don't remember anything. Nothing really stood out for me. I thought it was a pretty bad show.
For me, it's interesting to see, or to find out the setup with TLC in regards to Braun Strowman going one on one with Baron Corbin. If Braun Strowman wins, he gets his hands on Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble for the Universal title. If Baron Corbin wins by some way, if Baron Corbin wins, he will become the permanent general manager of Raw. So here we go. Are you gonna have Baron going back to just being a superstar, or is Braun going to be facing Brock at Royal Rumble, or by some way both will be happening? Who knows? But either way, I'm at least intrigued in that sense. Of course, the TLC match. So that opening the opening of Monday Night Raw was intriguing to me. The Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, that feud, and that's going to be moving forward the number one feud from Monday Night Raw overall. And the backstage promo, excuse me, backstage promo by Dean, and then the ring, Seth Rollins finally coming down and attacking Dean Ambrose. Dean getting the best of him, but overall, I think that's gonna be the moneymaker for maybe be the match tonight for TLC, right? That's gonna be the Intercontinental Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. So those are the two takeaways. I myself was going back and forth with Monday Night Raw and the Monday Night Football game of the century. Excuse me, there with the Chiefs and the Rams, probably a Super Bowl matchup we probably will be seeing in February, but I digress there. But that pretty much was when Raw in a nutshell to me, because the other stuff and just the other stuff really didn't matter too much to me even. That I was watching the football game, and especially the later it got and more into the game it got, more and more I was staying with the NFL game than I was with Monday Night Raw. Just how that was on Monday. And as for Tuesday SmackDown Live, it was disappointing to me because I thought there was going to be big implications, and I thought there was a people saying man about how how's it going to roll and things are going to change, and this getting swept, and it was we all talked about on Miss TV, and I'm looking forward to seeing how are they moving things forward here line wise, and with SmackDown Live getting swept at Survivor Series and we're changing a say and blah blah blah, and really nothing came from that. We had that food fight, and I wasn't surprised that it was Cesaro in the end taking the Thanksgiving meal to the face, so to speak, after the match, than Sheamus. I mean, I can see them backstage. The booker, speaking to them, hey, which one of you wants to do that spot? So I was like, I can. I mean, I don't mind being silly and make fun of myself. Sheamus like, go ahead. I'm not doing it, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, you had those. I think it was Daniel Bryan's promo, Charlotte Flair's promo. I think those two being my moments of the night, like not even a match of the night, in regards to SmackDown Live, but those two segments, promos, Charlotte Flair and Daniel Bryan. In regards to Charlotte Flair, I know as even you were speaking there, Kyron, about Charlotte and WWE trying to make Charlotte like more like Becky or taking Becky's spot or this and that. To me, I'm seeing it. Okay, maybe that's true, but I think it's because it's setting up to again either that Four Horsemen match or specifically if we're talking about her being like Becky having that tag team match with Baszler and Rousey at WrestleMania, if that's where it's gonna go. But either way, that's just how I see it in that regard. You said you didn't watch SmackDown, but um, you didn't watch SmackDown. Did you have any thoughts if you were able to see any clips or anything of SmackDown live from this week?
The only thing from SmackDown Live I even listened to was Daniel Bryan's promo. Even on JD's review, I didn't even listen to the part when he played Charlotte's promo because I already heard what everyone was saying about it that they pretty much are trying to make Charlotte into Becky. And even if, see, I don't give Davey the benefit of the doubt. I know what they're trying to do. That since Becky got over that way, they're trying to make Charlotte get over that way. And like I said before, you don't have to try to make Charlotte something into Becky because it worked for Becky. Let Charlotte do her own thing. And is Charlotte heel or face? Because I actually say heel, but the fact that she went to a handicap match with two heels as that face, I don't know. Daniel Bryan's promo was good. I can't, but the problem is I don't remember a lot of it because I wasn't really paying that much attention.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I didn't watch either show. I mean, I watched Raw, but it was so bad. I turned on the Chiefs and the Rams, and SmackDown I didn't watch any of.
Yeah, SmackDown. I did watch the whole thing. Again, I thought it was all right. Could have been much better. Best moments being with Charlotte and Daniel Bryan's promos, but overall, that was the week. That was nothing too much in regards to news to be bringing up here. Just going over Survivor Series, Raw and SmackDown. At least having an episode here, the Ramble, for this Thanksgiving week. But I think that should do it. Unless I don't think there's any big news or wrestling deaths or anything that happened this week that needs to be addressed in regards to the wrestling world. But it's only going to be interesting to see how everything is moving forward. And I do look forward to and to see how everything sets up for the Royal Rumble. One of the best pay-per-views WWE has, second to WrestleMania, of course. So I guess that's my own last words. I'll let Tyron have his last words, promote himself, and anything he would like to say before going.
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter /BroKyron, Instagram /_Kyron, Tumblr and DeviantArt Kyron Chase, YouTube account Kyron Chase. I do videos on wrestling. Sonic the Hedgehog, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and I do reaction videos from time to time.
And for me, you can find me at the Ramble underscore WWE. Here, obviously, YouTube, Facebook, Steven C. Clean, and then on Instagram and Snapchat, StevieK underscore 06. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving weekend. If you still have family over, and otherwise, so enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekend, and above all else, always take care.
Peace out.